welcome to Sarah's Stamping Retreat. So for part of my final assignment for level 2 of my Alter New Educator Programme course, I needed to upcycle something. And I have had a couple of these gorgeous Hotel Chocolat boxes that I've kind of kept because they're so sparkly and beautiful, but I want to kind of give them as gift boxes or kind of keep them as keepsake boxes. So I don't really want the branding on there, but they're too nice not to use. They're like really nice quality boxes. I just love this sparkle as well. So what I thought I'd do is make some flowers to kind of put on the top and make it into like a bit more of a fancy box. So to do that, I'm going to use this Himalayan Blue Poppy layering die set from Alter New. It's part of their Craft a Flower subscription. You might have seen the video where I used this earlier in the month in my Marvellous Monthly video. I'll link that below in case you want to refer to that for another way to use these dies. And because the box is so sparkly, I wanted to make the flowers a bit sparkly as well. So I'm actually going to emboss them with a sparkly embossing powder. So I've cut all of my pieces. I've cut enough for one of these flowers and two of this flower that sits behind. And I've cut it from a mixture of pinks. And you can see here you've got the guidelines for what all the dies look like. And you've also got this guideline on the back as to how to build them up. So for each piece, I'm just going to go over it with my embossing buddy. And then I'm going to keep two separate pieces of scrap paper. One for putting on my VERSAMARK ink. So I'm going to dab that all over with VERSAMARK ink. And then I'm going to whip that away. I'm going to use the other one for my embossing powder because I obviously don't want to pour embossing powder all over the sheet that I've just put VERSAMARK ink all over. So it'll just stick to my scrap paper. So then I've got this translucent pearl embossing powder from Alter New. I'm going to pour that over. Tap off the excess. And then I'm going to pop my pokey tool into this little hole here that's already cut in the die to stop it from floating about too much. And then it becomes really shiny, and it also becomes kind of more sturdy as well because it's got the embossing powder on it. So I'm going to do that to each of these pieces, and I can go through the process with a few bits at a time rather than doing each of the petals individually. Then I'm going to make the flowers up according to these directions. So you can see, for example, that number 1 is this piece here, and number 2 is this piece, and it's showing us that we need to line up the keyholes here. And I'm just going to continue following the instructions to just layer those up. And then I've come to the part where I need these centre bits. So in order to offset these a bit, I'm going to just emboss these pieces from this one and this piece from the other one with gold embossing powder, just the same as I did just with the pearlescent embossing powder. I'm going to emboss these with gold embossing powder. So I've got the Alter New Antique Gold Crisp embossing powder for this one. And so then I can continue just finishing off that flower. So that's that flower finished. So I've got another one of those to make, and then I'm going to do the same with this flower here. And then I've got another one to make up that's the same as the first one. So then I've got my 3 flowers, and I've got these 3 leaves as well. So I just want to arrange those on the top of my box. So I'm really happy with that as a layout. So I'm going to grab my hot glue gun to glue these on. So with this kind of thing, when it's like the layout, I like to take the things up one at a time and then glue them back down in place. So I'm going to use this one first. You want to work quite quickly with hot glue because it sets quite quickly. So there's my finished box. I'm so pleased with how that turned out. I think it looks really pretty with the flowers, and I think that the added embossing actually gives it a bit of dimension because it adds some depth to the cardstock. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's project. If you did, I'd appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when I've got a new video available. All the products that I've used to decorate today's box are listed in the description below, and there's also a link there to my blog where there's a picture supply list if that helps you find what you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.